What's up, everybody? Today on Fine Fayetteville, we're gonna be checking out Millers Brew. Try to understand their purpose and what makes this place so unique in terms of the coffee and the experience. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Ruben Garcia with Fine Fayetteville, and I'm with Kim at Millers Brew Coffee. We're going to talk a little bit about this place. So if you don't mind, tell everyone who you are, what you do, how you do it, and all that good jazz.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kim Molnar. I'm the Executive Director of Millers Brew, which is a nonprofit organization that specializes in training adults and adolescents with special needs. And Millers Brew is the third phase of Millers Brew organization. So our first phase was vocational training labs in 10 high schools that we put in the area and between 2016 and 2020. And then our second phase is our food truck, which is called Cooking with the Crew, in which we went all around the community, built awareness about how adults with special abilities are perfectly capable of working and how we train them how to work. That grew very rapidly, which led us to our third phase, Millers Brew Coffee Shop.
Wow, okay, very good. So which one of those, now you got me curious, which one of those three stages did you learn the most to get to this point?
Oh, wow. Well, it's kind of a tie right now because the labor intensity of a food truck world you will gain respect real quick for people in the industry. So learned a lot overnight about the hours and the intensity of the work for anybody in the restaurant business. And then the most that we've learned with opening the coffee shop, obviously, is the art of coffee. And that it truly is a neat process, the roasting process. So every day I feel like we just learn more and more in regards to different areas that I really didn't know much about. You know, I'm a speech therapist by trade, but my knowledge of the restaurant business, the food truck business, and now the coffee business has just grown immensely.
Oh, I bet. Do you have anybody who comes in here looking for the food from the food truck?
All the time. Yes, and they ask all the time, when are you getting the food truck up and running? Matter of fact, we just had a meeting with Haymount Truck Stop people, so we did their pilot, so we're going to be very much involved. Our food truck will be 2 blocks down at the Haymount Truck Stop.
Wow, okay, good. So you're already in conversation with bringing it back.
Oh, yeah. It's coming back, but we had to establish this first. Make sure that we had all of our crew ready, give us time to master what we're doing here, make sure our training days are running smoothly, and then we'll get the truck up and running.
Right. Okay. So I'm not a big coffee connoisseur either, so there's still a lot that I need to learn. My wife's bigger in that. But what kind of coffee do you serve here, and what should somebody be looking for when they walk in here in terms of coffee?
Well, we have a roaster in Aberdeen, North Carolina, Cactus Creek, and we learned everything we know. We learned from them. All of our cupping, all of the process of picking our own blend, the process of a medium roast versus dark roast. So we actually came across our own blend by accident where, we were doing our cupping, and we, through the taste testing, we're like, we really can't decide if we like this better or if we like this better. And he said, blend them. We ended up blending them, and not only was it a wonderful taste for us, but our roaster, who's been doing this for almost 30 years, he was like, that's a really good blend. Really? And so it's become very popular very quickly. So our Millers Brew blend is on brew and our espresso bean. So all of our espresso beans that are extracted, that's our own blend, which is kind of cool. And then it's proprietary, and we pride ourselves. And then we have dark roast and we have decaf. Right. Some of our most popular drinks are our espresso drinks, which are shots of espresso, ice cream, cookies and cream, caramel. Yeah, super good. And our smoothies. So it's really across the board. But the thing we are also most proud of is not only our partnership with Cactus Creek, but our partnership with Superior Bakery that's located in Hope Mills. And working with Superior Bakery and have all of those pastries accessible to this side of town, and the partnership that we have with Nico and Kathy is priceless. So
I mean, what a good blend. right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what was the first word that was said when y'all tasted that blend? Because y'all knew that was it.
Smooth.
Smooth.
Yeah. All of our customers say it's smooth. It's a smooth blend. You can drink it straight. I don't drink straight coffee, but I can drink our blend straight. And we've had lots of coffee connoisseurs come in here, and they'll do their thing where they're, yeah.
Then they'll chew on it.
Yeah, and the word that's most commonly used is smooth.
Really?
So I guess that's a good thing.
Okay, so for those who come in here, does it remind them of anything? Is it just pure unique?
To be honest with you, they'll just tell us like it's the best coffee. Like,
Really?
yeah, they give us really good compliments. They're like, you got really, really good coffee.
Wow, okay. So I'm having a bad day and I need to relax, and I walk in here. What would you recommend?
It depends on if you are iced or hot. If you wanted an iced coffee and not, first I would say our espresso shake, because they're just divine. Like cold, hot, you get a taste of the sweet and you get a kick of the coffee. It's like the best of both worlds. But if you're in the mood for just a coffee, you don't really want to shake, our iced coffee, our caramel macchiato ice is really good. And then if you want hot, I probably would have to go with the caramel mac again. It's just really good the way we make it, the way we shoot the shot. Everybody seems to really like it.
Wow, okay. Would you say the same thing if I was bringing someone who wasn't familiar with Fayetteville into here? What would be the drink or the conversation? What would that look like if I was bringing someone that wasn't necessarily familiar with Fayetteville? What would you offer them?
If they weren't familiar with Fayetteville, probably the espresso shake.
Yes,
just to try something different. You know, you can get a caramel mocha and a latte in about any coffee shop in Fayetteville, but I don't know of that many. I know some do, but I don't know that everyone has like an espresso shake. So I'd want them kind of give them something different, you know, because we have several flavors that we can run that mix, and it's pretty good.
Okay, so what if I want to chill? The sunset is going down, or the sun's going down. It's a beautiful sunset. What should I be sipping right out of this place?
Well, I mean, I might like offer you our pina colada smoothie and then let you do what. A pina colada smoothie this time of year is really good. A peach smoothie, so good. Our peach shakes, they're all really, really good. If you're just have a mocktail before, you know, you go home for the end of the, I probably would recommend that.
Do you have any pineapple?
No, not
I'm a
yet.
pineapple freak.
Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind.
So I walk in here and there's nothing but color everywhere. What inspired that?
The local artist Sherry Link and her brilliant brain. So I knew I wanted coffee flowers, like coffee bean. If you know the roasting process, you know the coffee process and who picks it, where it's picked, and the flowers that certain beans come from. I wanted it started off just being inspired by that, but her artist mind basically was like, those are not pretty. Like those flowers. No, they're just the actual flower of a coffee flower. It's not pretty. But so we went with flowers, and then to be honest with you, I said I want it to have a good positive vibe. I don't want, you know, dark colors and things like that. We're just wanting to have a nice bright feeling when you come in here. And so as a result, I just let her go. I just let her artist genius self just do it, and she did, and everything she did was brilliant, and it was phenomenal watching her do it.
Well, it's cool to see that in a coffee shop, because coffee, black and brown, you know, very dull, I guess, in the way it looks, and then you come in here and you're like, whoa, it uplifts you before you even order a coffee.
Right. The vibe is, we want that vibe. We want people to come in and they'll just say it's such a happy place, and that was the feeling we were going for. You know, you're nervous enough that you want to make sure your coffee's good, and that's always a bad feeling. Like, you know your coffee's good to you, but everybody's different. So the stress of not having a bright, colorful, happy place, that was an easy thing to do. And then the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt that walking in here. Monday, it's closed. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on today.
So on Mondays, we are purposely closed because we designate that day for training days. So in the background right now, you hear a lot of talking going on. We have training sessions, 2 hours, 2 training sessions, 2 hours are 10 to 12 and then 1 to 3. And basically those are crew members that are just coming into our program. They just had intakes, and through their intake, we've established training opportunities for 6 weeks that we can figure out if they are good to go with handling the hustle and bustle of a Tuesday through Saturday coffee shop atmosphere. But also to give them that intensive training that we stand behind with our mission and vision. I'm a speech therapist. Catherine behind me, she's an occupational therapist. So they're getting the training that they need through individuals that have a skill set that are, you know, basically they study to do this. Like I study to do this, to teach language, handle behaviors, making sure the social skills are where they need to be. So it gives them that extra practice and not to be stressed. Because it gets, if you've ever been to our coffee shop at 9:30 in the morning, it's
or any coffee shop.
Yeah, very busy, very hectic, and we don't want that pressure on them. So we're basically using this day to acclimate our crew members to get ready for their training opportunity.
Yeah, and it builds confidence, right? So when they get asked that question, boom, they know the answer.
Yeah.
It's not and I would get stuck on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So to do this it sounds like it's so important.
Yeah, it's true. That's what it's there for. And then we can tease out any sensory issues that they may have, any anxiety that accompanies them just from being here and learning a new skill. It just gives us that opportunity.
Yeah, and you have a list, right? Or what is it? Not a list. It's you have people backed up to come to this program.
We do. I don't like the term waiting list, but I'm afraid we have one. Yeah, we have one just because there's only enough time in the day, but we are getting to them as quickly as we can through our process. But having said that, it could be a quicker process if we wanted just to check things off, like, oh, we met with them, they're coming, they're on the list. That's not what we do. We have full intakes with the families to establish a relationship. And what I tell every family is this is a process as far as building the relationship, because whatever pathway they choose for their adult with special needs, we're a part of that. And we can help them make that decision, but we can't make that decision unless we start the relationship to figure out what works best for them.
And I feel like they understand that.
They do. Yeah. They just appreciate the conversation. I mean, we have moms that will just sit there and they don't even hear that it might be 2 months before we start training. They just literally just start crying. And then I say, why are you crying? They're like, well, we've just never been able to sit down with anybody to establish a plan. And so now they have a plan.
Man, that's so cool. That is so cool. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions, okay? I just moved to Fayetteville. What would you tell me about your business?
I would tell you that our business is a special place, that when people come here, they immediately get the vibe that everyone in here is working for a purpose. We're all working out of the goodness of our hearts to help individuals who might not have the full opportunity that we have, that a neurotypical brain individual might have. Our crew members don't have that. And so everybody that's here, even though we're a coffee shop and we run a good business and we have great coffee and we have great customer service, we're clean and we're bright and we're airy, at the end of the day, I want people to walk out of here and go, wow, that is really a purpose. Like, they're standing by their slogan, their brand, and I think they do. I think they get that. And it's just bonus that we have just a great fun place to work, and we've met so many people in the community. Like, you come here, you're going to meet somebody, because we're relaxed and we're calm and we're smiling and we're talking, and nobody is ever stuffy, if you will. Everybody's like, hey, and the puppies are everywhere and the babies are everywhere, and it's just, it's very family, neighborhood oriented.
Yeah, I mean, you can't come in here stuffy with colors like this on the wall either. What is the number one asset in your business?
Oh, that's easy. Our crew members. Our crew members. We couldn't do this without them. They make our day. If this were full of neurotypical people all day long, we would be bored to death. Our crew members are full of willingness to work. They're funny. They show up on time. They care, that they know why they're here. They're thankful. They're thankful that they're here. I mean, if we didn't have that on a daily basis, if we didn't have them growing and learning, and we see the growth like every week. Like, if you saw us week 1, and then we talk about it all the time, whatever 4 months in weeks is, what is that, 12? Week 16, we're always in awe. We're like, do you remember when she wouldn't even talk to anybody? And now she's like carrying on a full conversation with our customer? Or do you remember when he couldn't process 2-step directions, and now he's making a drink, going to get smoothie, getting a straw, calling out the customer's name, killing it. The multitasking, all the executive functioning skills that we have to, if I couldn't train and teach and they weren't here, then we wouldn't have what we have.
Yeah. Have you ever has any and what we're now I want to call it student. Well, have you had any crew member that left here and maybe started their own thing, or there was a new or a bigger step that they moved into? Have you seen anything like that yet? Because I know this is fairly new here.
Well, the coffee shop's new, but the nonprofit is 2016, and phase 1, those were done. And then phase 2 with our cooking with the crew food truck, we had one of our crew members, JB, who trained with us for 6 months, and then we basically pipelined him into Jersey Mike's. So we have a business partnership, a community partnership with Jersey Mike's in Westwood. And the owners, Danny and Jamie Teresiano, Jamie's a speech therapist as well, so she gets what we're doing. They're very supportive, and JB's been with them for a year and a half, and they will tell you that he is the best employee ever. Yeah.
And I was gonna say this, being grateful is one of the highest energies in this universe, and for them to come in here and be super grateful for the opportunity, for the training, for the friendship and everything else, I can totally see that being transformed into something else where they have to be the best employee at that spot.
They are. They're wonderful. I mean, just the little things like, Victoria, if she's putting the ice cream away, she's going to give you a quick little touch with the ice cream because it's cold, and then she gets so cracked up. But day 1 she was stiff as a board. She was like not moving because she just wanted to do well, and she just didn't know what was expected of her and how far she could go in regards to being an employee, and then but just having fun. You can still have fun at work, you can still work at work, but just those skills that we're teaching them are just, that's what keeps us going every day. I mean, we work 13 hours a day, literally. And not to mention, once we get home, all the admin stuff we're having to do. But if you can work 13 hours a day on your feet and not really ever complain once, except maybe my feet hurt, it's a pretty good day.
That's huge. And I wanted to stay on that for a little bit, because once you said your crew members, I was like, oh, let's go deeper there, because it's such a cool subject, and I want to get into the conversation of growth, because I think we all run into that where we need to know the foundation of anything first before we can throw our own flavor on it and have fun with it. Yeah. So I could totally see that transpire through the one that you spoke about. Ready for more questions?
Yeah.
Best compliment you or your business has ever received?
I think probably the biggest compliment we receive is when people can, they hear about our purpose, they read our purpose on the wall, they'll say, purpose in every cup, what does that mean? But when they come in and go, I see what you're doing, I see it. You're not just throwing it up there and saying you're doing this. I see the growth, and if you can not have to speak it and talk about it, but people can just stand back, you don't even know them, they just coming in for a cup of coffee, but they see the training, they see, we all love our crew members, but I'm pretty tough. I don't mince words, and they don't ever leave me, so they love me for some reason, even if I'm fussing at them. But if a patron is in and they see the love that we give them, even if it's warranted as tough love or just sweet love for the day, a big hug, or you're doing great, or if it's a tough love, we just lost a customer because you missed that order. Did you, it's not any different than any other business.
Perfect.
And so when customers see that and they're like, I see it, I see the purpose, that's the greatest compliment ever, because then that means we're doing what we say we're supposed to be doing.
100%. How many, and I'll say we're kind of indoctrinated by how many businesses say that they're out there doing a good thing, but it's really for profit. It's the only reason why they're saying it, right? Or advertising or marketing it. And then they come in here, it's kind of refreshing. It's oh, this is real. This is true. And then seeing it and then being part of it. And I guess the first word that comes to my mind is refreshing. That this is real and you're really making intentional purpose.
Yeah, we try. And it's not easy because it's not for everyone. And that's probably the hardest part of my job, being the trainer and being in charge of, we initially had, 6 members, crew members. Now we're up to 25 a week, and we have 50 plus on the waiting list. So it's not for everyone, but we do want to make sure that we help them get to the path that is right for them. But at the same time, if you're business minded, you have to have the business to have the mission. So it's really hard, it's hard because you still have to have serve safe rules. You still have to be able to, wash your hands, know to wash your hands, clean aprons, know to not touch the pastries with your bare hands, like these are things that keep you in business and people don't walk in and go, and to have good coffee. You got to have good coffee. But at the end of the day, we tell all of our customers and my employees that are here, as trainers, I'm like, everybody better be smiling, and everybody needs to make sure that customer has exactly what they need when they walk out the door. And we have found that if we can handle that, which our crew members can because they're dear and they're sweet and they know how to talk to people, and if they don't, we guide them through it. As long as we're making those connections with our patrons, and we know we're going to be fine.
Yeah. Totally agree. And I think I love the fact that you're not doing any favors of like coddling, because the world isn't going to do that, the outside, right? So you're doing them a huge favor by putting them through that and then them building confidence through it.
And that can be a catch-22 because as a therapist, I've been practicing for 30 years, and I also have a child who has autism. But we've never defined Miller as our child with autism. He's Miller. He's one of 3 boys. He's got an older brother named Guy and a younger brother named Davis. But he's Miller. Is he different? Yes, he thinks different. Does he have to learn different? Yes. So my mindset is not always well received with some parents, and that's fine. But I think once they see how we use that information to transform the learning process that happens in here, then they accept it a little bit more. But I've said to parents, they'll say, well, he has autism, and I'll say, and they go, oh, well, he has autism, and it doesn't bother me, and none of us that work here, because the concept has been proven. We have Down syndrome, we have other developmental disorders. The concept has been proven that if they're trained well, they can learn and be successful.
Of course. I love it. I almost want a mic drop after that. But I will ask one more question. Outside your business, what would you tell someone who just came to Fayetteville they'd have to do while they were here?
I would say get to know the people. I wouldn't even use there's so many great businesses. There's so many great local businesses. There's much history in our restaurants. People who've started the restaurants, the military who've said, I'm going to retire from the military. I'm going to open a restaurant and I'm going to do this, or I'm going to start real estate, or I'm going to, just meeting you. Like I've never met you. Like I think if you're here for a limited amount of time, the people are really cool people. Like in 4 months that we've been here, and people say, oh, what's going on? I know you see everybody. I'm like, I really don't. I don't see everybody. I see people I've not even met in my life. And I've loved getting to know people that have lived in the same town I've lived in my entire life, but we've never crossed paths. So their stories are great, where they come from great, their strengths, their weaknesses, just all of that. I would go pick a spot and go talk to some folks. And really would have great stories that I'm pretty sure will be told in that short amount of time.
There's a few things I want to say there. One, if you're going to go talk to anybody, challenge 5, talk to 5 new people, come to a coffee shop. Exactly. What better to play, to meet new people? They'll make it happen. Yeah. And the other thing is, same, I've been here since kindergarten, but there are so many people that I haven't met before that are in this community. And I think it says a lot that this is a big place, but it's still got the small town feel. So people think we know everyone. Because it feels like the small town feel. Exactly. I get that all the time. They're like, and nothing against my friends, but my friends love me, but they're not going to come to my coffee shop every day. I mean, they can't do that, right? So yes. Jobs, little stuff like that.
Yes, but friends that I've had for 40 years, yes, they come, but they're not coming every single day. But the people that walk in here and that we've befriended, and some of them we have become really good friends, like just deep conversations, and they appreciate just being here, having a safe place to come and have a cup of coffee and talking to people that just come in and they've just recently met. And that happens in a lot of places in Fayetteville, a lot of local spots. You can go and do the very same thing. So that's what I've learned and kind of stepped back and had perspective on the past couple weeks is, the people. There's lots of great places. You can go sit out in the yard right over there at the fire station and meet some really unique people. But I mean,
there's
we're in
someone
town.
if there's someone you want to have your back, go sit at the fire station, you know?
Well, I mean, but even them, like they come over, we didn't know them before. But even unfortunately, you know, our friends they don't have a home right now. They're homeless. I mean, we all know their names. We all know their story. You know, there's just a lot to gain as a human being if you just have a conversation with people.
Totally.
And I think that's where Fayetteville, as my youngest son likes to say, he's like, Fayetteville's like this, Mom. Everybody's enmeshed, you know, like just lots of different personalities and different things that people can know about each other.
Totally, and I love that answer. And I know you said it might sound generic, but I've never gotten that answer. It's always been places. Yeah, it's always been places, which no fault on that either.
Yeah.
But that's a cool part, because what would the place be without the person?
You can't have it without the people.
Now that's the mic drop moment right there. Is there anything, lastly, you'd like to tell everyone who's watching?
I mean, just thank you for this opportunity. It's been fun. Like I feel like I've known you forever, and I just.
That's why I was like, it's gonna go much easier than you think.
Yeah. I think I covered a lot. I just thank you for the opportunity. I love that people get what we do, and but not only do they get what we do, they're willing to grow themselves. They're willing to say, I never really thought about my nephew who's been sitting at home for 15 years after he graduated from high school. This would be a cool spot for him, or a cool opportunity. Those are the things that matter to us. And the more that I meet different people who hear about us, and you taking the time, even though it took a while, you taking the time to get to know us, I appreciate it.
Of course, well, I appreciate it. And I would really appreciate if you guys come here, enjoy the atmosphere, say hello, meet 5 people, and come out and find Fayetteville. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You got it. How many times did you get goosebumps on this one? Please stop by this place. Please let them know I sent you. Please go get some coffee and meet those people that we talked about. Remember, the challenge is 5. Go out there and find Fayetteville.